Welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you to the kitchen the day after Thanksgiving. Now, since I've been busy cooking 3 turkeys, I'm going to now make the turkey bone stock. Now, the reason I call it bone stock is I add vegetables to it and everything. It's not just broth. I have, and I'm going to end up having to make 2 batches of it because this is just only 2 of the carcasses. I have another carcass in the fridge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the oven and let it roast for about 45 minutes, get it all good and toasted, and it makes a big difference in your broth, in your stock. Now, I have 2-gallon jars, and I have plenty more, believe me, of the drippings, the saved drippings from the turkey while it was roasting. And I'm going to take out most of the fat that has floated to the top. I'm going to leave just a little bit of it in there. And I have my onions cut in half already. I have my celery and my carrots to go into the pressure canner. Now, I'm not going to add any seasonings because the drippings from the baking turkeys has plenty of seasoning in it. And I will add salt to the jars when I get ready to can it up. Alright, so I'm going to get these in the oven. And that way the bones, and I left just a little bit of meat on the bones, not much. But it's going to give it a really good roasted flavor. It'll make your stock a whole lot stronger. Okay, I'm going to let that bake for about 45 minutes. I have it at 350. I also have a big pot of water to take out. And I'm going to get everything set up, and I'll see you back here at the pressure canner here in a bit. Okay, welcome back. The turkey has been roasting, and well, the turkey carcasses, and see that nice roasted brown color? That's going to give your stock that roasted turkey flavor. Now, they are hot, so you're going to want to be careful how you put them in. Everything's nice and toasted. And you want to make sure you get all those juices in there. And I'll save those when I go to roast my second batch. And I'm going to reuse these. I usually put a glug of vinegar into my bone stock, but this time I'm going to process these bones along with the last carcass together, and that way I'm going to make sure I get everything out of those bones that's necessary and healthy. As I said, I got now I do have my first separator in the bottom, that way it keeps the bones and stuff off the bottom of your pan, and you don't have to worry about scorching. And as I said, I removed most of the fat, but look at that good gelatin. That you definitely want in your bone stock, and plus all that flavor. Jana! And you want to make sure you get everything out of your jar. Or as close to everything out of the jar as you can. And that was almost a half a gallon, and this will make it almost a gallon. And these are the wonderful leftover drippings from cooking the turkeys. And believe me, I have more. I have plenty more. Because I don't let anything go to waste if possible. And then my pot of water here is fairly warm. Now what did I do? Okay, there it is. Now, I have all the meat picked off of 2 of the big turkeys and partial of the 3rd one. So, I will be canning that meat up separately. And I will be using this bone stock in it. Okay, and yes, leave your skins on your onions. I want to make sure I have plenty of room for water too. Of course, everything's going to cook down real good, but still, I want to make sure that I have plenty of room for water, because it's the stock that I'm going for. And of course, you know me, it's got to have some garlic in it. And yes, I'm cheating. I'm using already minced. Let's just call that 3 heaping tablespoons. And yes, I am plenty aware that my math is off. But that's okay. We don't mind my math being off. You can make your stock the way that you like it. Okay. Make sure that the water gets all down in there amongst those bones. Like I said, my separator pan's in the bottom, so I don't have to worry about the bone sticking while it's cooking. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot to get my paper towel. Because you got to make sure. Now, I'm using an All-American 921. I don't have to, thankfully, worry about gaskets and all that. But you do need to make sure that your rim is wiped clean. And that you oil the rim so your lid doesn't stick on you. And I use olive oil, all natural olive oil, to oil my rim. I don't use no Vaseline, no none of that other crap. Because I don't want no chance of that stuff melting and getting into my food. And of course, you want to double check, make sure that your vent pipe is open. There's nothing on your rim. opposite sides. Barely snug. You're going to do this with the other ones. Barely snug. And then you'll come back and snug them down. Then I'm going to cut a flame on. Oh, well, I have to cut the propane on first. That always helps. Hold on. Forgot I turned my propane off because of inquisitive little puppy dogs. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to let this come up to heat. And once it comes up to heat, I will bring you back. See you here in a little bit. Okay, it is definitely cold enough that y'all can finally see that it's come up to temp. And I'm going to let it vent for 10 minutes. Once it's vented for 10 minutes, I will bring you right back. See you here in a little bit. Okay, it has vented for 10 minutes. I had to remember where I put my weight. Now, for my altitude, it is 10 pounds of pressure. I'm going to put my 10 pounds of pressure on. I'm going to drop the heat just a little bit. And I'm going to bring you back as soon as she's at a steady 11 pounds of pressure. See you here in just a little while. Okay, she is at a steady 11 pounds of pressure, and I'm going to let her cook for 2 hours. And I will bring you back when the 2 hours is up. And this is going to be good, because let me tell you, it smells so good outside. I had to go move my car a while ago, and I could smell it all the way in the front yard. Oh, this is going to be some really good stock. I'll bring you back here in 2 hours. See you after a while. Okay, she has been cooking for 2 hours. Time to cut off the flame. Don't touch anything. And let it naturally depressurize. I'm going to give it about 30 minutes once it hits 0. And then I will take the lid off, and I'll bring you back for that. But she's got to naturally decompressurize, or depressurize. Let's just say that. I'll see you back here in a little bit. Okay, she has naturally depressurized. So I'm going to take my weight off. And you're going to want a pan, a big stock pot with a colander in it that is lined with cheesecloth. There we go. That way any bone fragments and stuff will get caught in the cheesecloth. Always open your pot away from you so that you don't get steam burned. But look at that dark, rich, nutrient-filled bone broth, or actually bone stock. Now, if you don't have a pressure canner, you need to do it in a crock pot for at least or on a stovetop, but you have to cook it for at least 24 hours before the bones leach their nutrients out. And that's what you have to watch out for right there. And this is very hot, so be very careful. Do not burn yourself, because this will burn you. Oh, I wish you were here to smell this. The aroma is amazing. But that is the darkness that your bone broth or bone stock should look like. It shouldn't be pale. It should be dark and beautiful and full of healthiness. And of course, it being turkey bones, you have to be careful. They will splinter. So you want to make sure that you strain your broth, your stock, very well. Because the last thing you want is to be eating some bone stock and get a big old piece of bone or a small splinter of bone. As you can see, I've run out of room in this pot. I'll be right back. And what I'm going to do is gently lift my colander out of here. All beautiful and dark. Move this pot over a little bit. And go back to scooping out this pot. You want to try to get as much out as possible. And of course, there's still little pieces of meat. At a later time, once it cools down later on, I'm going to see how much meat I can save out of it. Of course, I'm not done with the bones either. Alright, I know I'm not going to get all of it out. There's just a little bit left. But that's okay. That's perfectly fine because I know these bones still have nutrients in them, and I have another carcass coming out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add that third carcass in here. I'm going to add a few more vegetables. And I'm going to fill it up with some more water. But before that, I'm going to put some more of the turkey drippings in it. Because what I'm going to end up doing is running another batch of bone broth. I'm going to save my bones, of course, once that second batch is done. Dry them in the oven overnight. And then I'm going to make bone meal as long as they're dry. See, as you can see, this one's starting to fall apart already. So you have to be careful about that, especially when you're straining your stock out. That's why I use cheesecloth, because you want to catch those bone splinters because you don't want them in your stock. And what I'm going to do is combine the 2 pots of bone broth, bone stock together. And then that'll be my official batch of turkey bone stock. Now, I won't put you through running the second batch because it's going to be the same as the first batch. But I'll bring you back when I get it all done and mixed together. I'll see you later on tonight because it's going to be a long night. Because some of the bone stock I'm going to be using to can up all the picked turkey I have off of the 3 turkeys. We sacrificed one for Thanksgiving dinner. We didn't eat all of it, of course, because it was a 23.5-pound bird. But I want to make sure that I get all the stock that I can off of it. And like I said, I'm just going to dump that back out. I'll rinse this out and wash it real good. I don't want to take no chances of bone splinters going into my stock. But I'm also going to restrain this stock before I use it to make sure. But you see that? Your bone stock is not supposed to be pale. If your bone stock is pale, you didn't do it right. It's supposed to be dark and rich, just like this is. That also is why you want to roast your bones before you make your stock. Alright, I will bring you back late on this evening and show you what the finished amount is. See you later on. Okay, I have batch number 2 ready to roll. Last and final batch, because I know the first bones will be spent, and since they're spent, I'm going to put more pressure on the second batch, the third carcass going in. I made sure that my rim was clean, and I've re-oiled it. And you always have to double check. Look through your lid up to a bright light and make sure that your vent is clean. And if it's not clean, it'll blow on you. Put the lid on. Loosely snug. Loosely snug. Then go back, tighten it down, And let's get our crock up for round 2. And there we go. Cut that heat down some. And I will bring you back when this is done and I have it strained and everything. I'll bring it up to pressure just like I showed you in the beginning of the video and everything. I'll do everything the same. See you later on this evening because it's going to be a late one. Okay, I am back inside because it is cold as can be outside. This pot has been double strained already. This is from the first batch. And this pot is from the second batch. You notice how much richer and creamier it is. And that's why I'm going to mix the two together. Now, this one's already been double strained. I'm working on the last of it. And this is what I mean about double strain. The last straining goes through 6 layers of cheesecloth to make sure that any bone splinters, anything is taken out. I'm like going through this process to make sure that nothing that could be a bone splinter or can get through. Because it being bird bones, you can't be too careful. And this is just part of the process of double pressure canning bones. Now beef bones, you don't have to worry too much about it as long as they were cut right and there's not many bone shards along the edge of the bones. And if you see, you probably can't see it, but just take my word for it. You'll feel it. It feels like sandpaper. That's little pieces of bone. But do not one bit allow that to keep you from making your own bone stock. It is absolutely worth it. And of course, before I use the cheesecloth, I make sure that it's moistened. And there we go, 2 beautiful batches of roasted turkey bone broth, bone stock. Now you see why I call it bone stock, because it's a whole lot stronger than whole lot stronger than this bone broth. And I've already rinsed my pan out real good with hot water. And since both batches have been double strained, I'm going to mix the two together. That's 4 cups. It's a messy job, but somebody's got to do it. And it's so worth it in the long run. Okay, that's equal amounts of both. And let me tell you, it's a dirty, dirty job, but it's worth it. Well, not dirty, more like messy, but let's make sure you can see, hold on just a minute, see the beautiful richness of this roasted turkey bone broth. Or bone stock. I hear bone broth so much. Alright, I'm going to try to use, here's a measuring cup. And that way it'll go a little faster. Oh, I wish y'all could smell it. It smells so amazing. But you see how rich and wonderful that is? Let's see if I can make it focus. But see how rich and wonderful that is? That is exactly what your bone stock is supposed to look like. It's supposed to be real rich and full of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. But look at that. And it has just a little bit of fat on top so far. Alright, I'm going to pause it a minute. But see how simple and easy it is to make your own homemade roasted turkey bone stock. Now you can also do this with beef bones, lamb bones, lamb, sheep bones, goat bones, pig bones, especially ham bones. Simple. Yes, it's easy. It's just very time consuming. But nothing worthwhile ever comes fast. Homemade takes time. I hope this encourages you as well to make your own bone stock. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section below. Also, there's more information in the description box below this video. So, hopefully you enjoy this video and find it informative. Everyone, take care. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. It's been a long day, and it's time for me to get some rest once I finish mixing up the two pots and getting them jarred up. Because tomorrow, it's time to can some turkey. I look forward to seeing you soon. Everyone be blessed and take care.